No matter how you slice it, the last several hours were never going to be among my favorites. The last thing I remember was that the Gilboa's backup bridge was a mess, and the pain meds that my Jabesh buddy Arquats, or Artie, or whatever, had given me were wearing off. I'm not the type of guy who wants to give up on life, and yet, a few hours ago, I essentially committed suicide, or at least I attempted to. The idea was a simple one. There was an invasion fleet headed towards Earth. I was out of options. I could let the bad guys reach Earth, or I could blow them up by flying the Gilboa into the middle of their mini armada and then scuttle my dreadnought. Dreadnoughts that lose their containment fields tend to make very big bangs. I'm told it's quite a sight. Sadly, if everything went according to plan, I was going to be on the wrong side of this one to enjoy the view. Such is life, or death in this case. The thing is, when has anything ever gone according to plan in my life? There was only a 50% chance that the Gilboa would even be able to enter skip space for the microjump. There was only a 50% chance the ship would exit skip space when and where I wanted it to. And there was a 50% chance that the ship would blow up when it did emerge from skip space. I know, that's 150%, but as I said, the pain meds were wearing off, and my noggin was not operating on full thrusters. As it turned out, the Gilboa exited skip space on target and without blowing up. Go figure. The old girl didn't know the meaning of the word quit. I remember watching my finger move in slow motion to depress the containment override button. I also remember being profoundly sad. The ship had done all that anyone could ever have asked of her, and here I was putting her down. I felt like I was betraying her. The fact that I would be dying with her seemed an empty consolation. At first, nothing happened. I wasn't sure the override was even working. I went to press the button a second time, but before I could, the wall in front of me started glowing red, and then flashed to a searing bright white light. At the same time, I felt a static electric charge build up all around me. All the hairs on my arms stood up. In these types of situations, my mind tends to go to strange and nefarious places. I was thinking to myself, "Self, this must be what the roast chicken feels like when you warm it up in the microwave." Did I mention the pain meds were wearing off? Then everything went dark. Imagine my surprise when I woke up in sickbay, with my wife Lori's beautiful face staring down at me. The fact that I had just blown that sickbay up didn't even occur to me. "Hey, gorgeous, you free for a drink later?" Lori smiled and nodded to a man behind her. It was her father, Admiral Spratt. "He's flirting with me, so he's going to be fine," she said to her father. "At least until I kill him for being a bone-headed, inconsiderate, selfish imbecile," she growled. If I were a betting man, and I am, I'd say she was mad at me. Oh, it's good to be alive. 8 hours later, after a thorough going over by the medical staff and some regeneration therapy to deal with my half-mended ribs, I was declared fit enough to take an anti-grav wheelchair to a conference room. The chair was a pretty slick bit of tech. I wouldn't mind having one to play around with. I had seen something similar, a gurney, on a Defiler cloning world where I had been a guest, but I had never seen anything like it in human hands. Lori walked beside me as I guided my chair down the corridor. As I traveled through the ship, I have to admit I was impressed. It was as modern as anything I had ever encountered. It looked eerily similar to the interior of the Gilboa, but with a number of functional enhancements. The turbo lift was twice the size of what I was used to, and all of the wall-mounted control surfaces seemed to be height-adjustable. They were little touches, but they added up to a nice improvement. Although no one had said as much, I knew I had to be on the Ticonderoga. She had been modeled and designed using the Gilboa as a reference. Unlike the Yorktown, which was a renovated pre-contact Earth ship, and the Faka, which had been a partially completed galactic order ship that human and Janai engineers had simply completed, the Ticonderoga was a built-from-the-keel-up interstellar dreadnought fabricated by humanity. I knew that Earth's newly constructed orbiting shipyards were working hard on a number of sister ships. What I didn't know was whether or not Earth would ever get a chance to finish them.